Now, Stephen, of course, we want to touch on a sensitive topic that's been going on lately. The whole Hillsborough incident, basically, that's been in the news of late. Now, if you don't know what the Hillsborough disaster is, you can look it up online, one of the biggest disasters in the world of soccer. But, Steve, of course, you've been criticized for, just to sum it up, summarizing on your...
Criticized?
Yeah.
We're being kind.
We're sugarcoating it.
Vilify?
But, on your talk show, basically... stating that Liverpool FC supporters without tickets were pretty much the root cause of the whole Hillsborough disaster. Of course, you've also been accused of a few other things regarding ignoring the Taylor report to push your own agenda. But all in all, I want to ask, where are we now? Where are you specifically on that? Of course, we know you've gotten death threats over this incident.
Yeah.
But have they subsided?
Not just death threats, and let's be clear about this. The last time I checked, we're still in the United States of America. Mm-hmm. And while I reckon that the First Amendment and the protections of the First Amendment are for us to be protected against the government, okay, fair enough. But I also do believe that we should be able to, on a show like ours, be able to express an opinion, and it's all it is. It's an opinion. It's my opinion that is contrary to much of the world, not much of the world, but much of the Liverpool world as to what. The root and cause and root and branch and all that stuff of Hillsborough. Let me be clear and say that it's one of the greatest tragedies, period. Forget putting it in the context of football. And one of the things the Liverpool fans love to try and wind me up about is that I'm being disrespectful to the 96 that perished. And nothing could actually be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. I just am aware of what the football culture was like at that time. And while I think Lord Taylor did a very, very good job with this report, and I think we should all commend him for the report based on the fact that that's where we got the all-seater stadium from, I don't agree in total with the Warren Commission about the Kennedy assassination, and I don't agree with the 9/11 Commission about what happened on 9/11. And so I don't think it's completely ridiculous that I don't completely agree with the Taylor report. It's a government report that has, for people to say that it didn't have an angle to protect is naive. And I'm sure this will go out and it'll start a new set of hate mail and death threats. The death threats I can take. What I cannot stand is cowards who sit behind their computers and threaten to kidnap my stepchildren, two girls who are 8 and 11. This, I think, to be despicable. And I think the fact that Liverpool Football Club and their board have met and have essentially condemned us and supported the boycott, and from what I can gather, supported also any means necessary that the supporters groups have to go to, I think it tells you an awful lot about Liverpool. I'm sorry, it just does. The fact that Tom Hicks, a man who lives in your state, and George Gillette, the owner of the Montreal Canadiens, are supporting a movement to boycott our show, to put us out of business, to supporting death threats and threats of kidnapping an 8 and 11-year-old little girls, and supporting the anti-Semitic tirades that you will find on Rourke or Red and White Cop and on the Liverpool website and all that stuff. I think it sometimes says to me that the joy of the game does you talk about MLS and everything, and there are times when I look at the game and I look at this situation that I find myself in at the moment, and wonder where the joy is in this game, because it just absolutely bamboozles me that you can have an opinion about something. I'm a talk show host. We do a football talk show. I've never been shy about my opinion about this particular subject. I've always thought that there was a shared responsibility. I think it's fantastic if you want to blame the FA, the City of Sheffield, the police. I think you're absolutely 100% correct. They are all absolutely to blame for that awful, awful day.
Now, of course, we only have a few minutes left, actually 2 minutes left in the show, but I want to ask, too, with all this, of course, yes, we understand, First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, and everything here in this, United States that we live in. But on the other hand, I also have to ask, in hindsight, do you have any regrets for any of the things that you've said regarding the Liverpool fans and this Hillsborough disaster?
Well, I mean, I'd like to put, no question, I'd like to put this all back in a box, but to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, my opinion hasn't changed just because people want to see me dead, and just because I'm not a coward about this. This is what I believe. I mean, this is what I think. I mean, I don't think anybody went there in their hearts that day. I think people went there to see their team play in an FA Cup semi-final against Nottingham Forest at Hillsborough, and the worst tragedy in English football history happened. End of story. End of story. I don't think anybody went there with any terribleness in their heart or in their heads. It happened. And I think as I've said many times, that there's a shared responsibility, and for people to pretend that the fans weren't there is, I think, just is a bit disingenuous.
Now, of course, Liverpool and some Liverpool supporters have actually gone after you in terms of, your sponsors.
Correct.
Your radio show, your television show as well. I mentioned.
Wouldn't it be nice if they were interested in a debate rather than just destroying? Because that's what they're trying to do. They are much more. I mean, it's the old expression about it's easier to destroy than it is to create, and they are living proof. They're living proof of this. I mean,
it's the politics of the game, which unfortunately are not always, like you say, come back to the beauty of the game itself.
And the passion. I think we're victims of the very passion that we just talk about.
I think that's probably right.
Well, with all that said, Stephen,
I wouldn't deny that at all. I mean, and sometimes I think the passion is taken way too far. Actually, in my original comments, actually, that were reported by a certain website on, from the comments on April the 13th, were actually largely drawn from what had happened a couple of weeks earlier in the Ivory Coast. And my feeling is that if you were to get some sort of statement coming from these Liverpool people who are so passionate about their position regarding Hillsborough, I'd love to hear them make a statement about what happened in the Ivory Coast. I'd love to hear them make a statement about what happened in other disasters, including Heysel. Justice for the 96. Okay, how about justice for the 39 from Heysel? How about justice for the 23 from the Ivory Coast? It seems to me that it's the very same people. It's the very same people who are sending me death threats and threats to kidnap my stepchildren and these anti-Semitic tirades, who are the ones who are filming with their cell phones and dancing and jumping up and down at Old Trafford and singing about Munich '58. And I find it ironic, and I find it so unbelievably hypocritical. It doesn't even bear thinking about.
Now, Steve, final question.
Okay.
Of course, Fox Football Phone-In, what would we be seeing you on that
What's that?
this season? Your show on Fox, are we going to be seeing you?
I've got no idea. Usually the way that works is I've been on a one-year contract that is renewed usually in the summer. I find out sometime in the end of June, early July, and that's the way that process goes. I'm none the wiser. I knew when the contract was ending. I knew when it was starting, and I'd love to come back. I'd love to be a part of the show. I think with Fox getting the Champions League, it's really great. It's a great moment. It's a great time for the Fox Soccer Channel, and I think it's an interesting moment for football in the United States of America.
All right. Well, there you have it, Stephen Cohen. Stephen, thank you for joining us tonight on the Soccer Show here on 1560.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me, and good luck with your show.
All right. Thank you, man.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. And that's our show right here on 1560 The Game. I want to thank you all for listening tonight. We will see you